Stop calling yourself lazy. You've been carrying that word like a label on your forehead for years. You think the reason you haven't posted that video or started that business or prayed like you wanted is because you lack discipline. But I'm here as your coach today to tell you the truth. You don't really have a discipline problem like that. You have a stewardship of structure problem. You are trying to build a destiny on vibes and motivation when God is calling you to build it on order. Hello and welcome to Becoming Her series. My name is Chino Ofodile, and if this is your first time here, let me tell you exactly what this channel is about. Becoming Her exists to help high potential women like you to stop drifting and start building. To help you move from procrastination, fear, disconnection, and survival mood into structured, disciplined, God-led execution, so that you can be able to build a life, the voice, the influence, and the value you are called to carry. That is why this channel is about not just inspiration, but formation. Now, in today's episode, I want you to take a time and sit with the title for a minute. You are not lazy, you are structured. Say that again with me. You are not lazy, you are structured. And there is a very big difference between the two. One is a character flaw, while the other is a skill gap. The skill gap can be fixed. Now, before we go further, I want to tell you what to expect in this episode, because I want you to stay until the very end. We're going to be talking about why your brain resists starting things. We're going to be talking about the difference between motivation and systems. I'm going to give you 6 real systems that changed my life. And then we are going to close with the God factor. And I promise you, the last section is that one thing that is going to hit you so hard. So do not leave early and stay with me. Let me tell you about a conversation I had not too long ago. So there is this lady that is very close to me. Anytime we spoke, she was always complaining. The same complaints over and over again. She was tired, she was overwhelmed, she felt like she could not get anything done. And one day, I looked at her and I told her, girl, you actually have time. You have more time than you think. I was like, let us take stock of your time together. And then we sat down and actually looked at her day. That was when we realized that she actually had time. She had this pocket of time she was not using. But then, she had already convinced herself she was too busy. And that was when it hit me. Most of the things we complain about are tasks we have already decided we do not want to do. Our mind then creates a roadblock to protect us from doing them. There is a saying in my language that says, Anya di ojo. It means the eye is lazy. Not the body, not the spirit, but the eye. Because before your hands even move, your eyes have already judged the task. Your eyes look at a laundry and says, this is too much. Your eye looks at a camera and says, I'm not ready yet. Your eye looks at that business plan and says, where do I even start? But the moment you actually begin, you just realize it is not as heavy as your mind told you. Anya diojo. That thing you have been calling laziness is not actually laziness. It is resistance at the starting point. And today, we are going to deal with it. Let me take you back to last year, 7th of October, to be precise. That was my birthday, if you don't know. And most people celebrate birthdays in different ways. But for me, I decided to sit down and take stock of my life. Not really celebration, but reflection. This is because I had looked at my life and did not like what I was seeing. Let me give you some background. So I had started YouTube channel in 2022 and I stopped. I had a prayer group I was running. I paused it. I had things I had said I was going to do. And the only word I kept using to describe myself at the time was lazy. But here is the truth nobody tells you. I was not lazy. I was a nurse. I was a wife. I was a mother. I was showing up every single day for everyone else. I was not lazy. I was just unstructured. I had no system for my own life. I had no plans for my own growth. I was pouring into everyone else and running on empty for myself. And then something happened. There was a lady I met in a masterclass. So sometime around that period, or I think early this year, she reached out to me and God used her to throw more light to my dark puzzle. She had structure. She had clarity. She had a way of thinking that I did not have. And I made a decision. I invested in my life. Let me be honest with you about what it feels like. It was not easy to spend money on myself. Because as women, we are so used to spending on everyone else. The children, the home, the family. But spending on ourselves, that feels selfish. Now, it is not selfish, it is stewardship. You see, that coaching gave me structure, it gave me accountability, it gave me challenges I was not giving myself. It gave me someone who checked on me and did not let me off the hook. I met and I networked with amazing people too. Oh, it was fantastic, and it changed my life completely. The woman I was on the 7th of October is not the woman talking to you right now. That woman is long gone, and I'm still becoming, and I want the same for you. So let us get into it. The first thing we need to deal with is the lie that says I am lazy, or I'm not disciplined, or I'm just not that kind of person. These are lies, and they are dangerous, because when you believe you're lazy, you stop trying to fix the real problem. The problem is not your character. The problem is your system, or the lack of one. James Clear in his book Atomic Habits says something. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So if your life feels like it's falling apart, it is not because you are a bad person. It is because your systems are weak, and weak systems can be rebuilt. Viktor Franklin, in his book Man Search for Meaning, he talks about how in the most extreme conditions, a person who has a sense of purpose and structure survives. He survived a Nazi concentration camp, not just because he was a Superman, but because he had something internal that kept him anchored, and a reason, a purpose. Structure is not just practical, structure is survival. And the Bible backs this up. Proverbs chapter 24 verse 27 says, prepare your work outside, get everything ready for yourself in the field, and after that, build your house. God is saying here, prepare first, structure first, then build. Not the other way around. You cannot build a life you have not prepared for. Another verse of the Bible I would want us to look at is Proverbs chapter 21 verse 5, which says, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. I love Proverbs. Diligence is not just working hard. Diligence is working with a plan. Diligence is simply structure. I want you to stop right now and think about this. What is that one thing you keep saying you will do and never started? Write it down in the comment section. Just one thing, because naming it is the first step to owning it. And I wanted to see it is okay, so drop it below in the comment section. Let's go to section 2, which is the eyes is lazy. Now let us talk about what actually happens in your brain when you avoid a task, because this is not just a spiritual problem, it is actually a brain problem, and understanding it will change how you approach everything. Your brain has one primary job: protect you from danger, from pain, from discomfort. So when you look at a big task, for instance, your brain scans it and says, this looks hard, this looks uncomfortable, or let us avoid it. And it creates that feeling of resistance. That feeling is not laziness. The problem is that your brain cannot tell the difference between real danger and a pile of laundry. For it to be safe, it treats both of them the same way. It says avoid. But here is what neuroscience tells us. Every small action you take gives your brain an evidence, like evidence that you're the kind of person that does things, evidence that you're the kind of person who shows up, evidence that you're the kind of person who follows through. James Clear calls this identity-based habits. He says every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. So when you wake up and do your 5 minutes of prayer or 30 minutes of planning, you are not just praying, you are telling your brain, I am a woman who prays. When you meal prep on Sundays, you are not just cooking, you are telling your brain, I am a woman who plans. When you turn on the camera and start recording, even when you do not feel ready, you are not just filming, you are telling your brain, I am a woman who shows up regardless. So if you want to become a structured person, you do not wait until you feel structured. You start doing structured things. Your brain will definitely catch up. It's also backed by cognitive behavioral therapy. So CBT teaches us that our actions shape our feeling, not the other way around. You think we need to feel motivated before we act. But the truth is, we act first, then motivation will follow. And this is where the 5-minute rule comes in. The 5-minute rule is a concept used in cognitive behavioral therapy. Here, you tell yourself, I will do this for 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, if I still do not feel like it, I will stop. But here is what happens. Once you start, momentum literally takes over. Your brain shifts from avoidance to engagement. And most of the time, you keep going. Now, Robinson, in her book, The 5-Second Rule, takes this even further. She says, the moment you have an instinct to act on a goal, start counting down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. Because if you wait longer than 5 seconds, your brain will talk you out of it every single time. This sounds funny at the first glance, but it works. Both of these concepts are saying the same thing. Stop waiting to feel ready, start first, and the feeling will follow naturally. James Clear calls this motion creates emotion. Write this down. Starting is my strategy. Say it out loud. Starting is my strategy. Not perfection, not motivation, not the right time, just starting. Now tell me in the comments, what is that one thing you're going to start in the next 24 hours? Comment in the comment section. Just one. Drop it below and I'll read every single comment. Now, I need to talk to you about motivation. Because motivation is a lie. Not completely, but mostly. Let me ask you something. Do you wake up for work because you feel like it? No. Even when it is cold and winter. Even when it is snowing. Even when your body is begging for 1 hour of sleep. You still wake up. You still wear your clothes. You still go. Why? Because you are not relying on motivation. You are relying on a system. The system is, you know the time, you know the consequences, and you know the structure. So because of that, you move. But when it comes to you, your prayer life, your business, your health, your content, you say, oh, I will do it when I feel like it. And that is why nothing moves. Motivation is like your mood. System is like the salary. Mood comes and goes, but you see, salary is structured. If your life is built on mood, it will collapse. But if your life is built on system, it will stand. Stephen Covey in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People talks about the concept of being proactive. He says highly effective people do not wait for the conditions to be right. They create the conditions. They plan, they structure, they execute, regardless of how they feel. And God naturally backs this up. 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 40 says, let all things be done decently and in order. God is no author of confusion. Chaos is not a fruit of the spirit. Order is, structure is, intentionality is. And Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 2 says, write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. God told the prophet to write it down. Not to just think about it, not to just pray about it. Write it down, make it plain, give it structure. Because a vision without structure is just a dream. And a dream without a plan is just a wishful thinking, just a wish. 6 things I actually do. And you can start with just one today. Now, system 1, lower the barrier to start. So I stopped making the process so heavy that I quit before I started. I stopped waiting for the perfect lighting, the perfect outfit, the perfect studio, the perfect moment. Because the perfect moment does not exist. Now, I simply turn on the camera and talk. Because the goal is not perfection. The goal is to start. And once you start, you will refine. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 4 says, whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the cloud will not reap. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions. Plant anyway. The second system is digital boundaries. So let me tell you, willpower will fail you. So it's better you design your environment instead. There are real tools for this. So one of the tools I will introduce to you for this digital boundary is Freedom. So at freedom.2 blocks apps and websites across all devices. It blocks all of them up. Another one is Opal. Opal, I think at opal.so. This one is best for iPhone. So what it does basically is it blocks at system level, so you cannot easily override it. So if you want to enter your WhatsApp, you can't enter your WhatsApp at a certain time because the system is even blocked, so you can't even see it at all. So if you want to enter TikTok at 11 o'clock, you can't access it because it's already blocked. So Pearl blocks it at that system level. You get what I mean? Another one I use is 1 second. This one is a bit minor. So for 1 second, what it actually does is it adds a pause before you open a distracting app. So a peer review recently shows that it reduces social media usage by 57%, which I think is a very high percentage. I use these tools because I refuse to be ruled by a screen. Right now, I have dedicated hours for checking my mails and social media. Most of the time, the only time I check my social media is when I'm on call with somebody. So instead of me to sit down like that, just take the calls, I just scroll on my social media, get feedback, or probably surf the internet, because that time I'm dedicating to make that call is like a reward system for me. All these things is important because what you consume is forming your thinking and your identity, even your voice. And if you're not intentional about what you take in, you will lose yourself without even knowing you've done it. Romans chapter 12 verse 2 says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Your mind is being renewed or corrupted every single day by what you watch, by what you scroll, by what you listen to. So guard it. Now, The third system I employed, which I am still struggling with this if I have to be honest, but it's been working for me, is meal prep and decision fatigue. The more small decisions you make throughout the day, the less mental energy you have for what actually matters. I started meal prepping. You know me, I don't like cooking. Every Sunday or Saturday when I have time, I cook in batches. I store my food, I portion my fruits, everything is ready. So now, I do not think about what to eat, I just eat anyway. And here is the bonus. My daughter eats with me. My husband, who loves cooking his own food, even joins sometimes, because the food is just there anyway. So there is not much friction, there is not much decision, no resistance. That is what systems do. They remove decision so you can execute. Now the fourth system is what we call habit stacking. Yes. Habit stacking. This is a concept that comes from Atomic Habits by James Clear. Habit stacking means you attach a new habit to something you are already doing. So instead of you finding extra time, you use the time you already have differently. Here is what it looks like in my life. So I do not drive normally. I use the public transport. So on the bus to work, I listen to audiobook, maybe audio Bible, and do my devotional. When I'm cleaning the house, I'm praying out loud. Sometimes I'm vacuuming and I'm speaking in tongues, all in the same time. When I do my chores, I listen to an audiobook or a sermon. This is how busy women grow, not by finding more time, but by using the time they already have differently. And here is something I want you to understand about prayer. God does not need you to enter a special room before you commune with Him. It can be while you are washing your plates, while you fold the clothes, while you walk to the bus stop. It does not matter. Don't wait for the perfect time to pray. Talk to God. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 17 says, pray without ceasing. This means prayer is not just a morning event, it is a lifestyle. Talk to God. It's a communication between two people. Talk to Him, take out time to listen. So the fifth system I cultivated is what we call the 90 minutes daily structure. This is the structure I use, and it's not complicated. My coach was actually the one that introduced this to me, and I just adapted it. So in the mornings, I do 30 minutes. I said 30 minutes, but it's at least. So I pray, do my devotions, now plan my top 3 priorities for the day. Midday or afternoon, I do a prayer walk if possible, listening, reflecting, checking in with God. Sometimes I take 30 minutes break. That's when I take 30 minutes. So I separate myself. I am eating, I am in solitude, I am talking to God, or I am reflecting on what has been done. Okay, get what I mean? So even when I'm doing the 12-hour shift, I try to observe it. So at night, I do another 30 minutes. Because I find it difficult to actually sit my butt down and write, so I devised another thing called the voice journal. What I do is I record my reflections on my phone and use an AI to transcribe it. I have this folder where I save it by date. I'm journaling gratitude, what worked today, what did not work today, what am I learning. It's the simple, not perfect, but consistent. I have this friend I encourage to try this, and she has been singing my praises then. God has given us a coat of many colors, guys. He has given us a coat of many colors in the guise of technology. Why can't we use it? Let's continue. On Saturdays and Sundays, I sit down and script everything I'm going to do for the following week. So how it looks like is, I know which day I am working, I know which day I am not. So on my off days, I know this is when I film, this is when I do admin, and this is when I rest. Because when you plan, you stop reacting to your week. You start leading it. So system 6, normally my biological clock wakes me up at 4:30 a.m. every single day, whether I like it or yes, it will wake me up. So if I sleep at midnight, I run on 4 hours of sleep. And what happens is I end up exhausted all day. So what I did was I designed my evening around that. So I made sure that my children are in bed by 10 p.m., especially on that I'm going to go to work the next day. I also aim to be in bed not long after. I roughly target a healthy sleep of 6 hours every single day. This is to help my body heal, because rest is not laziness. Rest is stewardship. Psalm 127 verse 2 says, it is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrow, for he giveth his beloved sleep. God gives sleep as a gift, not as punishment. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot build a life on a depleted body. It will catch up. I want you to pick a system from what I just shared now. Just one system. And I want you to tell me in the comment which one you are going to implement this week. Is it the 5 minutes rule? Is it the meal prep? Is it the habit stacking? Is it the 90 minute structure? Drop it in the comment section, because accountability starts with declaration. Now let's talk about the God factor. And this is the one I promised you, right? I need to bring this home. I told you at the beginning that the last section is going to hit you hard, right? So stay with me. Everything I have shared with you today is not just practical, it is spiritual. God gave us 4 resources: time, attention, energy, and money. Most women and most people generally got their money, but they waste their time, they scatter their attention, they drain their energy. And God will ask you for 4 of these things. If you don't know, God will ask you for the 4 resources He gave to you. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 15 says, "See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil." To redeem means to buy back. God is calling us to buy back the time we have wasted by being intentional now. And then let's talk about this parable of the talents in Matthew chapter 25 verse 14 to 30. I want you to really hear this. So this master was going on a journey. He called the servants and gave them talents according to their ability. One received 5 talents, one received 2, the other received 1. And the one with 5 went and traded and made 5 more, right? The one with 2 went and made 2 more. But do you know the one that they gave 1 talent went and dug a hole in the ground and hid it? When the master returned, he called them to account. To the ones who multiplied, he said, "Well done, good and faithful servant." But to the one who hid his talent, he said, "You are wicked and lazy." And he took the talent from him and cast him out. God was not angry because the servant bearing the talent. God was angry because there was no productivity, no growth, no multiplication, no stewardship. You see, the servant called himself careful. God instead called him wicked and lazy. So do not come to God and say, "I was busy being a mom." Do not come to God and say, "I had too many responsibilities." Because stewardship is not about having more time. Stewardship is about being wise with what you have already. Psalm 46 verse 10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is not laziness. Stillness is a command. And it is when you are still that you start hearing things that you could not hear before. You see the ideas, the directions, the convictions, the corrections. I want to say something about distraction. Some of you have made scrolling your God. Some of you have made noise a God. Some of you have made busyness a God. And these things are forming your thinking, your identity, your voice without even knowing it. That is why stillness matters. That is why boundaries matter. Not just spirituality, mentally. I actively pray for the spirit of structure. I pray for the spirit of excellence, because I know that God expects to be a stewardship of everything He has given me. One of the greatest things He has given is time. Pray this with me. Lord, give me the spirit of structure. Lord, give me the spirit of excellence. Help me steward my time, my attention, my energy, my money for your glory, in the name of Jesus. Amen. Before I close, I need to say this. Some of you are stuck because you are trying to do this alone. And sometimes growth requires investment. That lady I told you about at the beginning of this video, she became my coach. I paid for that coaching. And I want to be honest with you, it was not easy to spend money on myself, because as women, we are used to spending money on everyone else. But I did, and it changed my life. She gave me structure. She gave me accountability. She challenged me. She checked on me. And sometimes this is exactly what you need. Ask yourself, do I need accountability? Do I need someone in higher places to look out for me? Do I need a friend who is strict, a mentor, a paid coach? If you have to invest in yourself, please do it. I did, and the dividends are real. The woman I was on the 17th of October is not the woman standing here today. That woman is gone, and I'm still becoming. And if you're ready to go deeper, I have a private community called Sisters in Gap. It is a WhatsApp group and it's capped at 50 women. What we do there is simply pray together, we grow together, we study the Word of God together. It is not a social group, it is a formation group. If you want in, commit me in the comment section. I'm going to send it directly to you. You are not lazy, you are unstructured. And structure is something you can today, starting now. Don't forget, my name is Chino Ofodile, and this is Becoming Her. Let's become the woman God created us to be together.